See all those guys out there fly fishing? Looks like fun, but who wants to fly fish when you can review a lens instead, hey? And look at this, I've got the Sigma 300 to 600 f4 DG Sport. This thing is practically a telescope. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna point it at those guys. I'm gonna get some photos of them. I'm gonna see what flies they're tying, see what's working, what's not working, steal all their secrets. Anyways, I'm Chris Niccolls. This is PetaPixel. I guess we should review this lens. Okay, so look, the heavy sigh is only because I'm not fly fishing. I'm actually really excited to play with this. You know, when this lens first came out, it actually created quite a stir because it's affordable. Look, $6,000. If you compare it to a lot of the high-end prime lenses, 600mm f4s out there, it's way less money, but you might still need to find a reliable way to get that cash so you can start your wildlife and sports and action photography dreams. I would definitely check out KH.com because they've got a great resource to take your old gear and give you fair pricing for it. Their experts can evaluate the value of your products. You'll know exactly what you're gonna get before you say yes, and then it's as easy as doing an online quote, sending your gear to them and getting your check. In fact, if you decide to take something off their website, you actually get a 10% bonus on the trade-in value of the gear you're giving them. So you could trade up for something that's gonna get you the photography that you wanna get and get a really good deal at the same time. Or if you just want the cold hard cash, that's fine. KH.com loves that because they know that you might wanna say to hell with photography, I'm gonna become a fly fisherman and I'm gonna get myself some waders and a fly rod and a good fly bag and a bunch of flies. Well, that costs money too. Anyways, regardless of what you wanna do with your cash, KH.com is a great place to trade your used gear. And that's why they're PetaPixel's official pre-owned camera gear partner. Okay, so while I muscle this lens around, I think it's important to understand, like, how much does it weigh? Well, it's like almost 4 kilograms. It's like, that's just under 2 knots. That's quite a lot to carry around. And if you're like me and you're lazy and you don't want to pack the lens in the backpack every time, you know, take it off the tripod, you're just gonna hand hold it like this, wander around, well then yeah, it's like super inconvenient, quite uncomfortable to carry. And hand holding this thing, not for very long. I can do it, but I don't like it. I hate myself the whole time. So I brought the tripod, but I'm too lazy to take it off the tripod. So I guess I'm just gonna do this all day. All right, so this is a full featured lens, absolutely. Let's start at the front and just work our way back. Nice carbon fiber hood here, definitely gives it good sun protection as well as physical protection. No filters on the front element. You've actually got a drop-in filter, 40.5 millimeters there in the back. Customizable buttons all around the lens barrel. You've got this control toggle switch. You can click it left or right. You can customize what that does. Really nice smoothness on the actual zoom itself, manual focus ring. I love this part, tripod collar. I'm a big fan of 90-degree detents. I really like that. And a lot of other people say, Chris, you're stupid. Nobody needs that. Well, this is the first lens I've personally seen. I know it's not the first time, but you actually have a switch on the bottom here on the collar. I can just click this and now smooth. Everybody's happy. No divisiveness. Wonderful job, Sigma. You have your focus selector switch, of course, focus limiter. You can do close-up, you can do sports distances or full. You've got your 2 stabilization modes. You can set your custom selector there for the buttons. On the other side, you can change the beep on or off for focus. That's really convenient. You also have your preset focusing and again, another customizable button. You even get a Kensington lock so nobody runs away with your expensive investment. And it all comes in this beautiful white paint to, you know, thermally protect the lens, keep the sun's rays from heating it up and cooking everything inside. So of course a lens like this is gonna be designed for rugged environments, you know, out in the snow and rain, waiting for that perfect shot as the animal just comes into the frame. And so this is fully weather sealed, very rugged. We've never had issues with Sigma sports lenses before. They're very well built. And I do love that the tripod foot here got a nice rubber grip on it, but also cut for Arca Swiss so I can put it right on top of my tripod. No plate needed. I think that's fantastic. And yes, you do get, of course, a protective backpack to carry it all around, which I'm choosing to ignore because the fact of the matter is I wander around here and I see birds, I want to have everything ready to go so I can just set it up, unlock the tripod head, point it and shoot it. So I like the speed of that. I'm going to suffer with it, but overall just a beautifully designed system for wildlife. So as usual with their sports lenses, Sigma is using their HLA high-speed linear actuators, their motors in here, and it's very fast performance. As you can see here, works great with the Sony tracking, subject detection, bird tracking, no problems here. It's quick, it's responsive from near to far. And I do also want to mention, why not? We talk about the mount, so we have this on because I'm using it on the Sony a7R5 today. This lens is available for Sony E mount or L mount only. Now, there are some issues there. On Sony E mount, I have some limitations. No teleconverters. So 600 mil, that's as much as you're gonna get without cropping. It just isn't compatible with the 1.4 or 2 times converters. As well as usual, Sony is gonna limit the actual frame per second burst rate on this to 15 frames per second. You still get tracking autofocus. 15 is quite good, but if the camera can go beyond that in electronic shutter mode, it still won't support it for you. Well, what about L mount? Well, L mount, you do get full use of teleconverters. That's great. You also have no limitation to the frame per second burst rates. The only issue with L mount is there aren't that many purpose-built high-end sports and action cameras in L mount. So a big telephoto lens like this, it's got a big front element. We want to test some flare here while we have the sun. And you know, I mean, the contrast remains good, but as you can see here, even shooting wide open at f4, we get some ghosting, just lots of bouncing of that light inside those glass elements. Sigma's coatings are good, but you gotta keep light off that front element. So definitely bring that big hood with you everywhere, not only to protect the front of the lens, but to keep that extraneous sunlight off of that lens too. So I always love coming to this part of the park because it gets really closed in, as you can see, just like tight pathways, lots of trees, you know, and you get a lot of interesting birds in here. And I know my birds, I mean, we're out here looking for fake-breasted lollygaggers. I've seen some pillow-talking poopy fondlers and also some South Central Australian pelican cranes, very rare, but they're all around here. And so what I want to do, honestly, is just leave the tripod. I need to be able to move quickly, find the angles through all the small branches. Autofocus is working great, just trying to get those grab shots. And what actually impressed me about this lens, you know, the stabilization, very effective. I'm hand holding it, it's heavy as hell, it hurts, but I'm getting good stable shots and good sharpness. Also, I do like the minimum focusing distance here. I mean, at 300 millimeters, it's 9 feet from the sensor plane. That's still a fair distance, but when you've just got small birds there in the trees, you can actually get quite close and still get a fairly tight frame. If I go to 600 millimeters, it's 15 feet, you know, like, I don't know, 4.5 meters versus 2.8 meters for us Canadians. And it's actually working pretty well to catch all these very exciting, very rare birds. Now, what about bokeh? Because a lens like this, you're gonna get shallow depth of field. You want those busy backgrounds to kind of fade off into a soft blur. The 300-600 f4 does a pretty good job. I mean, looking at specular highlights, they're clean, maybe a little bit of a soap bubble effect, but pretty clean. This is where a fixed 600 millimeter f4, I mean, this is part of what you're paying for. It's just that luscious, out of focus look where everything's just soft and smooth. But by no stretch is this bad. I mean, the 300-600 f4 is doing a nice job. Backgrounds are pleasant, they look soft. And I think for a lot of people, this would be perfectly acceptable for high-end wildlife work. Okay, so we're standing by the spooky-ass Halloween tree. This is an actual haunted tree here in Calgary. Even the beavers are scared to like actually knock it down all the way. And you know, we got a lot of deadfall around here. We got a lot of interesting detail because this lens is too long to shoot inside the house for the test charts. But just from the samples we've got, you know, we're shooting some detail shots. I mean, this is a very sharp lens. I have no issues with this. Shooting this happily at f4, I'm still getting great detail in the center. Corners hold up pretty good. It's very sharp. You know, if you stop down the lens to 7.1, you get a little bit more depth of field, even a little bit more sharpness, but honestly, it's made to shoot at f4. It's fantastic there, as it is ideal for wildlife photography. All right, so we've had a fun day birding with the lens. We've seen a lot of interesting stuff. That, by the way, famous Canadian bird, that's a Canadian pit raptor. They're actually more dinosaur than bird. Very vicious. That person's very brave. I'm keeping the bench in between me and the birds. They typically will attack and go for very soft areas like open eyes or genitals, something like that. They're vicious. Anyways, had a fun time with this. I mean, this is a lens ideal for this kind of birding situation. And I did like the versatility of having a zoom. And I think Sigma's made a lens that's good enough optically that it absolutely rivals any of the primes that would cover the exact same range and aperture. And for the price, I think this does open up a lot of photographers to wildlife, sports, and action photography where they don't necessarily have the budget to get a couple expensive primes, or even one prime for that matter. This makes a lot of sense. It's versatile and it's good value for the dollar. Even though it is still expensive, you're getting something that's fantastically well built and designed for this kind of photography. And really the only limitations are ones that we've already touched on. Just the fact that in L mount, you can use teleconverters, but you don't have a lot of like high-end autofocusing cameras, I honestly do still think Canon, Nikon, and Sony are the best autofocusing cameras right now on the market. And this is only going to support Sony without teleconverters and at a reduced frame rate. I still think it makes a lot of sense. I just wish we could get this in Nikon mount or Canon mount as well. Still, I would consider that if you don't have a camera right now, I mean, for the price of a Canon or Nikon 600mm f4, you could essentially get yourself a Sony body and this lens and get going with it. Anyways, I think you guys get the point, and hopefully you enjoyed this video here looking at the Sigma 300-600 f4 Sport DG. Leave your comments below and let us know what you think. We always appreciate that. Don't tell me I got the names of the birds wrong. I know my birds, so like, don't worry, I got it. You know, no corrections necessary. But do let us know if you have any other feedback, and check out the podcast as well. It's the PetaPixel podcast. You can listen to it on all your favorite podcasting apps, or you can watch it on this exact same channel. And consider visiting PetaPixel.com. We've got fantastic writers. We've got articles on there. And if you get yourself a PetaPixel membership, $3 a month or $30 a year, you don't even have to see any ads while you're perusing all that. It's great. And you get discounts on the PetaPixel merch store, and you get discounts from some of our other partners. And you also get to see all the sample galleries of equipment just like this that we test. So I hope you guys enjoy that. We'll see you soon with more on PetaPixel. Is he looking at me? Oh, he's looking at me. Oh no, he's eyeing. Okay, no, he's eyeing us, Jordan. Get out of here. Go! Go!